LFA 133 is Stack versus Delano, and this is going to be a good card. Michael Stack and Jose Delano in the main event for the vacant featherweight belt, even though Jose literally just fought for the belt. Jose, again, correct me in the comment section below, he literally just fought for the belt against Jonas Villarino, however you say the name, and he got the win. He looked very impressive doing so, but he missed weight. So we're going to get a new fight here for the vacant featherweight strap. And we got Michael Stack, a guy, LFA. He's done very, very good in there. Only lost a UFC Bellator veteran, Kai Kamaka III. Should be a good main event. We got a Chinese prospect, Baha Batebolati, taking on Haris Talunzik, Josiah Reyes, Bahian Durin, Gantumor. We got Benjamin Bennett, Trey Waters. We got Trevor Wallace, Ben Tienen, Ryan Charlotte Boys, Jeremiah Kurt, Riley Wiseman, Jacoby Jones, Jasmine Montoya, Taisha Gandhi, Mike Mazariego, Miguel Perez, Ludvig, Acevedo, Asan Liberato, Anthony Valenzuela, Luis Garul, Frankie Sanchez, and then Joe Stafford right there. And then we got Jyota, Nanami, and Ricky Field. I know I messed up a few of the names. We're not going to do the amateur fights because they do not have any betting odds, but we will be breaking down every single one of these fights right here. First one being in the LFA featherweight division, Jyota Ninomiya versus Ricky Field in the featherweight division. This is a clear setup fight. Jyota is a very good karate guy. He's a very good fighter at range, kind of that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson type of striking. Just very good striking at range, good kicks, good counter punching and things like that. But he's more known, if you look at his Tapology record, more known for kind of like using that and then getting the fight to the ground, because a lot of his wins are by submission. He does have that TKO win, but got that rear naked on Josh Taylor and a guillotine on Jovan Gasper right there. So he's definitely a jack of all trades in that he's good everywhere. He's good on the ground and in terms of jiu-jitsu. A lot of his wins coming by a submission, and he's good in terms of wrestling and jiu-jitsu as well. And they're setting him up with a 33.5-year-old Ricky Field right here. 0-0 fighter with one win recently against Austin Locke in 2022 with a rear naked, but he lost 3 times by rear naked as well. Got a few wins here and there, but clearly he's an older guy. They're trying to set up a guy on a very good win streak, all of which inside the LFA in Jyota Ninomiya. Makes sense why he's a pretty big favorite right here. Betting odds, I mean, not surprising by any means. It just, if I can find them, right here, -600 for Jyota Ninomiya. I'm really not surprised by any means. I think he goes out there, takes the fight down, and submits him, or gives fight on the feet and knocks him out. Wherever the fight goes, Jyota Ninomiya by finish in the first or second rounds. Frankie Sanchez and Joe Stafford in the flyweight division. Now, this is one, there's not a lot to go off of, so I literally had to go on to their Instagrams to find some stuff here, but Frankie Sanchez is first off a wrestler in high school, transferred over to boxing. You can see in the picture right here, did have a few boxing fights here and there, getting some TKO wins off the bat, not against like legit fighters by any means, but he's a good boxer for sure. And Joe Stafford is decent. He's got one win as an amateur with a first round TKO win. That was back in 2019. Haven't seen much, I'm gonna be honest, I have not seen too much of Joe Stafford, could not find much of him, but Frankie Sanchez is very, very solid. I think Joe Stafford, the only fight I was able to find was that TKO win over Victor Moore, and he was on the back foot the whole time, and he got a counter punch and knocked out his opponent. It looked good, but there's not a lot to go off of. How good is his wrestling? How good is his offensive striking? I mean, we just saw the counter punching there, so I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. I think Frankie, the LFA definitely wants Frankie to win the fight. The betting odds are going for Frankie to win the fight at -245. Started at -150. It could be close. I mean, Joe Stafford's a good counter puncher and things like that from what we know of him. But Frankie's going to have the wrestling advantage. He's going to have the boxing advantage. Going to be far more technical. Joe Stafford might have the power advantage and things like that. If he can start throwing, maybe he can win the fight by knockout. But I think Frankie outboxes them on the feet, out-wrestles them on the ground, and I think we're going to see a good finish here. Either way, I think we see a finish. I'm going to go Frankie Sanchez by a TKO in the second rounds. Luis Garul and Anthony Valenzuela in the catchweight division of 130 pounds. Now, this is a fight. There's not a lot to go off of by any means. So, Luis Garul, 2-0, fighting at a Factory X, getting a first-round TKO, and guess what? Another first-round TKO win. Got good pressure, very, very good power in his hands, and he's going to be fighting a guy that probably needs to fight to hit the mat. Rear naked, rear naked, rear naked, rear naked, and then both of the losses are by TKO. So this is interesting. This is one of those fights where it could go either way. I mean, Luis Garul is at minus 240 right now, but it is honestly 50-50 in my opinion, because Luis Garul is clearly the better striker, clearly has more power, and clearly can go out there and put the lights out of Anthony Valenzuela easily in the fight. But Anthony can just as easily take the fight down and get a submission on Luis Garul. So it's a weird fight. Either way, it's literally 50-50. So, 91% is going Garul right here. It should be 50-50 in my opinion. I'm going to lean Luis Garul. I'm not confident by any means. I think he gets a knockout in the first or second rounds. Ludvig, Acevedo, and I seen Liberato in the flyweight division. I seen Liberato 1-0 with some good power in his hands, getting a first round knockout in 36 seconds, getting knocked out by a good guy in Anho right there in the third round, then getting a lot of wins on the ground. First round submission, second round submission, and then 2 decision wins. Ludvig Acevedo going out there, getting knocked out by Josiah Reyes in that fight, but looked very good on the regional scene, and in his LFA debut way back in 2019, getting a rear naked over Daniel Agre. Got some good submission wins on his record and things like that. Good way of taking the fight down. Fought Miguel Perez right here, another guy that is on this card, and he looked pretty good in doing so, and TKO'd him later on in that fight. This is clearly a 50-50. It could go either way 100%. I mean, I think Liberato right here is super legit. He's very, very strong. He's very, very powerful as well. Ludvig is the better grappler and things like that, but I'm going to go against what a lot of people are saying. 75% is going to Acevedo. A lot of people are saying so because he's got the better grappling, better wrestling. But I seen look very strong from the film that I watched, like very powerful. And it didn't look like Ludvig was going to take him down very easily. I think this is going to be a tough test for Acevedo right here. I seen Liberato. I think he should go out there, keep it very, very even on the feet. But I think he's just a lot more powerful in this fight. It is very, very close. It should be as close as it is right here, plus 110, minus 140. It should be this close. I mean, it is that close of a fight. I would not be surprised if Ludvig can find a way to get the fight to the ground, out-wrestle and out-grapple. It's just, Austin looked big in the film that I watched. I got Austin winning the fight by a TKO in the second rounds. Miguel Perez and Mike Mazariego in the flyweight division. Miguel is going to win the fight. In my opinion, they both have gone off of super long layoffs. 3 years and then, 2 years and 2 months for Miguel Perez. Miguel is taller. He is lengthier. He's a far better striker, in my opinion. Only losing to Ludvig Acevedo, another guy that's also on this card, but he's a very good striker in my opinion. And he could mix in a takedown here and there. It's just that's not really his type of style. Both guys right here are kind of just like putting it all on the line, looking for that knockout. But Mike Mazariego has not really gone later on in the fight and won. I mean, he's not a guy that really gets decisions very often, wins very often. I mean, if he's losing, it's probably going to be by a decision, which is decision is a submission and then a decision right there. But I do think this one goes to a decision. I think Miguel Perez is going to keep the fight on the feet. Mike is going to look good early. He's going to be looking for those big shots, whooping, looking for the knockout early on in the fight. Miguel being the more technical guy, the better cardio, the taller, lengthier, better striker, is going to win the later rounds as well and win the fight by a unanimous decision. Jacoby Jones and Riley Wiseman in the lightweight division. Now, 2 things that can happen in the fight. 1, Jacoby Jones goes out there, dominates, takes him down, gets on top of Riley Wiseman, kind of defends his submissions, ground and pounds a little bit, and just kind of grinds out to a decision here. Number 2, Riley Wiseman kickboxes him at range a little bit, outstrikes him using his taller frame, his lengthier frame, and things like that. And Jacoby Jones gets a little desperate on one of those takedowns and walks right into a rear naked, a triangle, an armbar, a rear naked, whatever the case may be. Just walks in right into a submission from Riley Wiseman. One of those two things is going to happen. Either Riley gets that submission after he's just getting very frustrated by not getting the takedown or things like that, or he does get the takedown and he can ride out a decision. It's very, very close. I think it could go either way. Jacoby didn't look too terrible in the last with Austin Warms. Didn't look good either. I mean, he went out there and he got the takedowns, got on top, landed the ground and pound, but his submission defense really was not the best, especially finding a guy with an armbar submission win on his record, triangles over and over and over again, rear nakeds. He's just a legit grappler. Submission. That's all he's looking to do. And it doesn't look good that he's going to fight another grappler like that, but the LFA knows what they're doing. They're putting one of their prospects against another guy that's a grappler, another guy that Jacoby Jones has kind of lost to a similar style, like Riley Wiseman, kind of like Austin Warms. But I do think, I know a lot of people going Wiseman in the Tapology predictions, but I feel like Riley Wiseman's not up to there in terms of grappling and jiu-jitsu as Austin Warms. He's not as good of a grappling wrestler. He could prove me wrong. He could go out there, submit Jacoby Jones even easier than Austin Warms was able to do, but I don't think he's going to submit him here. I think Jacoby is going to be, he had to have trained a lot of grappling for the Austin Warms fight. He's going to train even more grappling and jiu-jitsu for the Riley Wiseman fight here. So I think the fight is going to be a grinding fight. I don't think it's going to be too, whoa, the fans are going to be, super happy about the fight. It's just going to be a grinding wrestling approach. Jacoby Jones by a unanimous decision. Ryan Charlotte Boyce and Jeremiah Cartwright in the welterweight division. 27 years old and 31 and a half years old. Jeremiah coming off a TKO loss to Sarek Shields. But I'm going to give you the breakdown on how Jeremiah wins. Knockout. He needs a knockout. I mean, he started his career not doing too good, getting taken down and getting submitted. Heel hook, submission loss to Benjamin Bennett, who is also on the card. Even as an amateur, lost to some legit guys. I mean, Darian Weeks is right there. Orlando Saunders is right there as well. And a lot of the fights, he's kind of getting out-grappled. But this fight is going to be interesting because he has that puncher's chance. He has the chance to go out there and just start throwing bombs on Ryan Charlotte Boyce, and he can catch him. That's very, very possible to happen. And Ryan is not like one of those super legit wrestlers and grapplers, but I still give him a slight wrestling and grappling advantage over Jeremiah Cartwright in this one. And I do believe if he wanted to, he could play that game plan. So he has a lot of things to fall back on. On the feet, he's more technical, he's taller, he's lengthier, and things like that. He's actually not taller, I made that one up, but he is more a more technical striker. He throws a little bit more volume, lands not the harder shots, but he does land a little bit more volume, is a little bit faster, and things like that. And over a 3-round fight, Jeremiah might do good early. First round, he might do good, but second round, third round, I don't know if Jeremiah is going to be able to keep up that crazy pace that he usually does, and especially when Ryan, I mean, he could honestly mix in some wrestling as well. So I'm going to go Ryan Charlotte Boyce, Charlotte Bois, if I'm getting that one correctly. I think that's how you say it. I'm going to go Ryan Charlotte Bois winning the fight by a decision here. He got submission wins and decision wins in his career, not against legit guys. Jeremiah is a guy, not too legit, but he's not a guy that just gets finished easily. It's going to usually be later on in the fight, TKO, submission, and things like that. And Ryan's not that good of a finisher, to be quite honest. So I think the fight goes all the way. I think it's going to be a good one for as long as it does last. Just kidding. It's going to go to a decision. But I got Ryan Charlotte Bois going out there, outstriking him on the feet, mixing in some takedowns, and just, kind of grinding on the gas thing at Jeremiah Cartwright, just out-volleying him, landing the more technical shots, landing more shots, having Jeremiah gas himself out with those big shots and things like that, and the wrestling of Ryan Charlotte Bois, I'm sorry about that, I keep messing up the name, and I got Ryan winning the fight by a decision, but betting odds for the fight, minus 400, crazy. Yeah, I got Ryan Charlotte Bois winning the fight by a decision right there. Ben tienen and Trevor Wallace in the heavyweight division. tienen, I'm going to say it right now, he's going to win the fight. I think he probably should move down to the light heavyweight division. I think he definitely has the ability to do so. He is more of that heavyweight type of fighter where he kind of wants to fight heavyweight, but he's a little bit small for the heavyweight division. Last fight he weighed in at 234 pounds. It's a big weight cut for 205, but I think if he really put his mind to it, he could get down there. It doesn't matter though. For this fight with Trevor Wallace, he's fighting a guy that has lost to a 7-6 Bubba Grant and beat a 2-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-2. tienen is legit. He's got really good wrestling, very good takedowns, amazing ground and pound, and he's beating guys inside of Tough Enough for the belt over there. 10-0. Sean Mapatis knocked him out in a minute, 46 seconds. He's finished everyone. This fight is not getting past the first round, and if it does, it's not getting past the second round. I mean, it's clearly this fight's not going to go all the way. We're going to see a finish here. tienen, I think, is the better wrestler. He's the better striker. He's better everywhere, if I'm going to be honest with you. I have tienen taking the fight down. TKO win. Trevor Wallace in the first round. He's at minus 1,000 on the betting odds right there. Under 1.5 rounds is minus 300, which is not actually too crazy if you think about it. It's literally not that crazy. tienen inside the distance, minus 445. Those are the odds you're going to get for an LFA fight, but I think it probably happens. tienen inside the distance with a TKO in the very first round. Benjamin Bennett and Trey Waters in the LFA welterweight division. Trey, legit guy. I mean, 5 wins, not against good guys, though. I mean, 1-0, 7-6-1, 1-6, 0-1, and then 1-9. I mean, one good fight. If even. I mean, literally none of the fights on there have been legit. He's very tall. He's very lengthy. I mean, he's just a freak of nature if you look at him. He's got a very weird frame, but he's fighting a guy in Benjamin Bennett that's going to destroy him on the ground. Just went out there, knocked out Elmar Umarov, got a submission on Jeremiah Kurtwright, TKO wins, and then if you look at the amateur career, beating Isa Isakov right there. That's all I really need to know. He's a very good brave CF fighter over there that's fought some legit guys and has lost to very, very legit guys as well. That's one win. Alex Sola is another very legit win, only losing to PFL fighter Alex Martinez. William Starks, a 7-3 fighter that's doing very good, and also fighting inside the LFA as well. He's losing to the best of the best. Brendan Allen's on there as well. He's very legit. He's far more experienced than Trey Waters. Trey maybe has a chance on the feet of knocking him out or something like that, but that's not his style. He likes to get the guillotines, the rear nakeds, and he's not going to get that on Benjamin Bennett, who in my opinion is the better wrestler, the better grappler, and the far experienced opponent. I'm going to go Benjamin Bennett to win the fight inside the distance. It's going to be a good fight. Either way, whoever wins here, probably going to be a finish. Odds started minus 120, bumped to minus 350, and now Benjamin's at minus 425. The over 1.5 is barely, it's pretty 50-50. Decision, not very likely right there. 50-50 on Bennett inside the distance. Is very interesting. I'm also going Bennett inside the distance. I think he will get a submission win in the second or third rounds. Harista Ludvig and Bate Bolati in the welterweight division. It's going to be interesting. 2 undefeated guys, young in their career so far, 24.5 years old, training out of China Top Team where Jingliang Li or Li Jingliang, however you want to say it, that's where he trains with a lot of other veterans like Aziz Kaderyov, if I'm saying that one correctly, but he trains with a lot of veterans in that camp over there. Very, very diverse amount of different opponents with a lot of different styles in that camp. But Harista Ludvig also training with some legit guys over there in Factory X Muay Thai. I mean, Anthony Smith, Dustin Jacoby, Brandon Rival. I mean, we can go down the list. Everyone in this camp is legit in this camp right there. But a lot of UFC veterans and things like that. But for this fight, Haris, I do believe is going to have the striking advantage. Bahat Boli, he's got to have the wrestling advantage, in my opinion. And if he's going to win the fight, he's going to be taking the fight down and just destroying Harista Lunzig on the ground, out wrestling and out grappling, and getting some sort of TKO, submission, ground upon TKO, or something like that. He's got a lot of them, guillotines, ground upon TKOs, and that's how he's going to beat Harista Lunzig. Haris is a little bit taller, a little bit lengthier, good jiu-jitsu, submitted Gabriel Gideon and Brock Smith. But he's clearly going to have, the way he's going to win is going to be by striking. He needs this fight to stay on the feet, and he needs it to be at range and outstrike Bahatabole Batebolati on the feet and wins the fight by a decision. Betting odds, I don't really agree with them. Haris is like a 3-1 favorite, which is a little bit crazy in my opinion. Fight goes to a decision also. Does not make too much sense. I don't think Haris is going to go out there and finish Bahatabole Bataboli. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's just he's not a guy that I really see getting finished anytime soon. If there's anyone getting finished here, it's gonna be Bahataboli getting the finish here. So I think the fight goes all the way. I think Harista Lunzig goes out there, outstrikes Bahataboli on the feet, and wins at least 2 out of 3 rounds. But again, Batabolati is a much better opponent than the odds make him seem. It's 50-50. It could go either way, leaning Harista Lunzig very slightly to win the fight by a decision. Michael Stack and Jose Delano in the featherweight division. 5 rounds for the vacant belt. Delano just fought for the belt against Jonas Bilharino, and that was a win. He won the fight by unanimous decision, but he missed weight. He was at 147. Oh my god, that's tough. That is tough. But he's a little bit smaller than Michael Stack. Much better striker than Michael Stack. A little bit younger than Michael as well. Got a lot of experience. I mean, a few guys here and there not that good. It was only that 3-fight win streak that he's had. That is against like some very legit guys. Now he's fighting Michael Stack, a guy that's only lost to UFC Kai Kara France and Bellator Kai Kara France. Did beat Kyle Gregorio, Jackson Fieldho, Jordan Mappa, Brian Mitchell, and things like that. A lot of them by submission or by unanimous decision. Jose Delano's not going to get dominated. It's 5 rounds. I cannot see Michael Stack doing that and out wrestling him, especially in the later rounds when all the sweat starts to pile up. It's not going to happen. Maybe the first round Michael Stack could win, but after that, Jose Delano's going to outstrike him for the rest of the rounds, and he's going to win the fight by a unanimous decision. Jose Delano is going to be the new LFA featherweight champion, and he's going to fight on the Contender Series. I think it's going to happen. Jose Delano or Jose Delano by a unanimous decision. LFA 133, Stack Delano, full card prediction. I got Jose winning that one. Harista Lunzig winning, but that's very close. Benjamin Bennett, tienen, Ryan Charlebois, Jacoby Jones winning, but very 50-50. Miguel Perez winning, Liberato winning, but again, very 50-50. Luis Garula winning, but again, very 50-50. Frankie Sanchez winning, Jyota Nanami winning that fight. Those are the predictions. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.